Hello, I'm Jantien Powell. This is Chapel Cottage Studio. We're coming to the end of this little picture. We've done quite a few of these clips showing you how to build it up. And now we're on the last stage. We're going to put in the finishing touches. This is the cow's nose, so he'll no longer look like he's burning next to a fire. And his eye, which at the moment looks horrific. And then all those little touches that will make it into an exciting picture. So let's start with filling in the nose. I'm changing now to a smaller brush. Throughout this picture I've been using a 1 centimetre flat filbert brush, but I do need a tiny bit more detail now. So I'm changing to a smaller round brush. I have no idea what number it is. It's not tiny, it's not huge. Little round brush. The same colour that we've used throughout. So I've got my ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, turquoise, permanent rose, cadmium yellow, Galleria acrylics. I'm also using some white, which is on a different plate to keep it clean. I use paper plates for my palettes because they're nice. You can throw them out afterwards, no washing up. Got my water pot there, ready to go. So I've got my little picture up here, which is my only reference. Tiny little picture, but I like working from a small picture that has very little detail on it, because then it makes me use my imagination more, because I can't copy. So I have to really think about what I'm doing. I want to get the soft tones on this cow's nose. And I'm going to use a mixture, permanent rose, a little bit of cadmium yellow, more rose than yellow. At the rest of the picture I've been using more yellow than rose, but now I'm turning it the other way around, and I'm going to add white. Oh, it's still a little bit too yellowy. I'm going to put some more permanent rose in it. What I'm looking for is this nice sort of skin tone peach. That's nice. A little bit paler, I think. That looks like a nice soft peachy colour. I like that one. So I'm going to put on a base. Ooh. No, I'm not. Not yet. Sorry. I'm going to put the darks on first. I'm very sorry. I got it wrong. But it's always nice to know that the tutors get it wrong. First, I'm going to mix up my ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. This is the first coat. And with this, I'm going to put on the darkest areas inside the nostrils. And it's very dark right in the middle. And I'm going to use my finger to just smudge it out a little bit on the edge. And some very dark in here. And again, smudge it out on the edge. And I want to put, I'm going to put a bit more blue in it a minute. I want to put the pattern on his nose. He's got these lovely black spots on his nose, her nose I should say. I don't want to do them too literally, but I'm going to find where I want them to be. And they're like giant freckles, which I'm going to put on. And some of them are linked and some of them are little tiny bits. But on the real life cow, they make a bit of a line across there, and I don't think I want that. So I'm going to rearrange the cow's freckles a little bit. Try and make a nice pattern. This, actually, when I did the original of this picture, this was one of the hardest bits, was just trying to get a pattern that was pleasing into these spots. And it seems a strange thing to have trouble with, but I found it really difficult. But let's hope we don't this time. I'm going to put one over there, one by there. I'm going to put a couple coming out of the nose there and going around the edge. I feel we want a big one by there. That's quite a nice pattern. Maybe one up there on the outside. That's quite nice. So I've got all the darks in. Now I can move on to my peachy colour. Now I can put this colour. And now I'm going to work around them. Now I'm doing it like this because the first time I tried to do this, I tried to put the peach on first and then put the darks on top, and I just couldn't get the shapes nice. And I found that it works much nicer this way around. So I'm putting the dark spots on, then going over them with the peachy colour. And if it drags through a little bit, that's absolutely fine because it makes quite a nice colour. So we're going to fill in all of that nose. Such a nice nose. Carry on through. And I'm not going to, I could use an even smaller brush, but I don't want to, because then it will become too tidy in a way. Go around the outside, across the top here. And I do like these nice big bold brush marks. So I'm going to leave the middle-sized brush that I'm using is plenty. I'm not going to go teeny tiny. You can if you want, of course, but I quite like these bold strokes. Let's come around this side, down to the bottom, down here. This is going to have a darker colour on top of it, inside the nostrils, but for now this is absolutely fine. A little bit around here. Whoops, I want that light. There we are. A little bit around there. And through these shapes. It is quite picky, but I found it works nicely, and I like where the colour drags and you get those grey tones. I think that's nice. So we're going to carry on filling in round there and around here. Fill in the colours. If a tiny bit of orange peeks through, that's rather nice. Now, at the bottom here, there's a bit of shadow. So I'm going to add a little bit of my blue to that colour. You see, it'll take it down into a shadow colour. And where it's in the shade, I'm going to just take the colour down a tone, so that the lightest colour is up the top and we got a little bit of shadow down here. A little bit more perhaps. Make it a tad deeper. Just on the base of the mouth here. There we are. Get that darker tone. Oh, I'm just wondering if I should make it even darker. Perhaps I'll spread those out a little at the base and make it even darker. Yes, I think I like that. That's nice. Spread those dark colours out a little bit and make it even darker down the bottom. Now I'm going to make a deep colour. This is the ultramarine blue and permanent rose. No, sorry, permanent rose and cadmium yellow. This is before I put the white in it. And I'm going to use that in here. Make a stronger, warm colour inside the nostrils. There we are, get a bit of warmth in there. That's a nice colour. Then I may go back into the darks, just bring them up again. You can always just keep going, bringing it up, bringing it up. Warm it up, darken it, warm it up, darken it. And use your fingers to shade it. Wash my brush out. I just want to soften the edge there so it doesn't have a sharp edge. That's nice. And down there, lovely. Now I can see right down into those nostrils. And then I'm going to go back into my white. Now around this side, it's very lit. So I'm going to put my whites back on. Oh, all the way down here. But I must make the edge soft where it goes in here. So let's blend it in a little bit. There we are. Now we've got a nice curve going into the nostril. And a bit of light around here. And it's going to mix just a little in with this white up here, but not completely. Get a clean finger. Just make a soft edge along the top so that you can't really tell where the white finishes and where this soft peach starts. I might just put a little bit more colour in there. Soften the edge. Back into my white. I want some light around here. Oh, and there's definitely a bit of light on the edge of that nostril, which is going to come back through into here. There's definitely some light down here. And again, we want it to soften here where it meets the peachy colour. There we are. And on this side, just bring up a little bit more. And again, soften it into the peachy colours. Take your time doing this. Lovely, I like that nose. We're going to put just a little bit of shady colour with a bit of white in it under here. Just suggest the underneath of the mouth. We don't want it too dark or it'll get lost in the background. And I do want a dark line under there. And I'll let that blend in a little. There we are. Now we've got to see to this eye, which at the moment is looking a bit scary. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to do anything. You fill it in with dark, a little bit of white paint. I'm going to make the tiniest line around the top, the tiniest hint of light around the bottom, and just one little highlight on the edge, and you've got the eye. It's very tempting to want to spend hours on that eye, but you don't need it. Just a little bit of light and a highlight is absolutely plenty. Now I'm just going to bring up that a little bit lighter down there. Just picking at it now. A couple of little touches of colour. I love that shot of yellow. I wonder if maybe a little hint more yellow down in here. Just because it's nice. Which is always the best reason to use anything. There we are, just the tiniest hint more yellow. Right, I'm going to leave this to dry for just a second, and then we're going to come and put the very final touches on it. Okay, see you in a minute. Right, my painting's dry. Let's carry on. I want a little bit of wet around his nose. So I'm just going to do that with a little bit of white around the inside there and a little white dot, which will just make it look nice and wet. The next bit is great. This little uni paint marker, wonderful thing that I've just, again, new discovery. And it's acrylic paint or oil paint, I believe, actually. In a little pen, you can get very fine marks. And this cow needs his whiskers. So if you get one of these, you do away with all that carefully trying to paint really skinny marks, and you can just draw them in. Really nice. You can get him some delicate skinny whiskers, and they have such nice whiskers. Don't forget to come out at the sides as well as down at the bottom. It's not a cat, doesn't want massive whiskers, but they do have these nice whiskers. And he also wants some eyelashes, which I'm going to use this for as well. And again, watch for the direction. They do have delicious eyelashes. So we put in his whiskers, we put in his eyelashes. Very, very final touch. I would like to liven up the background a little bit. And for this, I have to put the picture flat down on a table. Right, for this last bit of the picture, I'm going to make up a thin turquoise paint. I want to liven up the background. I'm going to make my colour with some white and some turquoise, same colour we've used all through. But I'm going to put loads more water with it this time. I'm going to make it really thin. And I want it to be thin enough that it'll come off the brush when I splatter it. Wash my brush out before I start. Get rid of any thick paint that's in the brush. Now what I need to do is practice on a paper plate first, or on an old piece of paper, and hit the brush onto my fingers so that I create this splattery effect. Now I'm going to be very brave and just go for the gaps in the picture and put a little bit of nice splatters on them. If a tiny bit goes on the cow, it doesn't matter in the slightest. And I might just make myself a bigger area somewhere because I feel it wants it a little bit. Just a bigger splatter. There we are, maybe another one, just one bigger area down there. I might get rid of those two, I don't think I want them. There we are. And that's our final bit. And now the background is nice and lively and has something going on. It isn't just a flat colour. You've used the same colours all the way through. Use the little pen to make the whiskers. And we've got a really nice, lively picture with lots of colours, lots of movement. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching.